This Wednesday is International Self-Care Day, a day to prioritize yourself, make it a part of your lifestyle. It's going to go a really long way. Joining us to talk about this today is Dr. Eric French. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Morning, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
We always love having you. Okay, we were having such an in-depth friend-to-friend conversation in the ad break about this. So self-care, if people who are saying, I don't have time, like I got kids, I got work, I got things to do, what do you say to them?
I say that it becomes even more important to focus on, and it doesn't have to be a massive investment in time. But as I've said on previous clips here, like when adversity goes up, the first thing we sacrifice is self-care. Mm-hmm. And really, it's not just about mental and emotional well-being or physical well-being, but it's a performance metric. It's important.
Talk about maybe some good ways to work it into day-to-day life when you don't have a ton of time. Like, what are your options?
Yeah, I think some of the simplest things that we can do is to just take a moment to pull ourselves out of our minds, which is traveling all over the place, and just come into our body and be in the present moment and breathe and soften and remind ourselves that we're doing the best we can and we need to relax. Like, this system is always showing up for us. And that's why self-care is so important, because we can't just rely on the fact that it will always be able to show up for us without any investment on our end to show up for it.
There's physical impacts to this as well, of kind of constantly living in that fight or flight area, which I think a lot of us can relate to. I know I can, where my mind is always like, here's the next 1,000 things I have to get to.
Exactly, yeah. Don't even get me started. The levels of cortisol, our stress hormone that are circulating in our body, because we are trying to do so many different things at the same time and to think ahead into the future and just calling our system to be ready for all of it. If we don't turn around and invest back in our brain, our body, our spirit, it will burn out. And all of us have experienced that at various times.
And you think about fight or flight, but we're also just talking about that includes, like, you have to get to work, you have these responsibilities, you've got daycare pickup, you've got, all of these other, like, that is included in all of that, right?
Yes. So much of which we do not have control over. It involves other people that we can't work like puppets. And so being able to remind ourselves and to stay present that in my piece, what I can control, what I'm saying, what I'm doing about what's happening right now, I'm gonna take control over that. And I hope it goes like this, but I have to let go of expectations and stay focused on my goal.
Ooh, the expectations will get me at the end of the day.
All of us.
Are you talking about like 5 minutes meditation? Is it a walk? Is it yoga? What does that look like?
All of that. And it can just be breathing and softening. And every time we exhale, just letting our muscles soften more and more and sinking into our chair and thanking our body for showing up for us in the ways that it does. It doesn't need to be 20 minutes of sitting still with your legs crossed meditating. That's ideal and everything, but most of us who are coming and going and working hard and taking care of kids, etc., even if we're doing this for 30 seconds several times a day, we are getting practice pulling out of our mind, coming into our body, and reminding our system what it's like to come out of fight or flight. So it's so important.
What a good reminder. And hopefully on a Saturday morning, people may have a few extra minutes today to try this out today. So thank you so much for coming by. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, great to see you again.
Good to see you too.